Welcome back to Fox Eyes on the Hill Live this Sunday morning. You know, there are several Virginia races that are getting national attention. You've seen all the commercials from both sides all over the airwaves. They are everywhere. And for more on the state of politics in the Commonwealth of Virginia, we want to welcome back in Larry Sabato. He's a longtime political science and the director of the University of Virginia's Center for Politics. Larry, good to see you once again. Thanks for joining us. Let's talk about these Virginia congressional races, because obviously with the margin being so razor thin, they really are important. And can we start with Jennifer Wexton in Hung Cow? Wexton, the Democrat who was able to flip that seat from Republican to Democrat. Now she's facing Hung Cow, first-time candidate. How do you view that and its importance throughout the state, especially in regards to the fact that Governor Glenn Youngkin used a lot of what was going on in Loudoun County schools as a platform for his own election last year?
Well, if that one goes Republican, that is not as competitive as a couple of other districts in Virginia. But if that goes Republican, it tells you nationally Republicans are winning a very comfortable majority. That would tend to go Republican only if there is a real wave, a real red wave. There's clearly going to be a red tide, but will there be a red wave? So, yeah, of course, every race matters. You need to remember, we all need to remember that Virginia actually has 8 relatively uncompetitive congressional districts, and there's no statewide race. There's no Senate contest. There's not even a referendum on the ballot. So turnout is entirely being driven by the House candidates, and that's tough to do. That's tough to do without anything else on the ballot.
So if Wexton has a good night on Tuesday for her, could that tell us something about the Democrats' prospect in other races?
Well, sure, she does very well. I'm not going to be looking to that one so much as I'm looking to those other 2 highly competitive races that I know we're going to discuss.
All right, let's talk about Abigail Spanberger. Obviously, she's facing a contest from Prince William County Supervisor Yesley Vega. Larry, these ads have been back to back to back, constantly nonstop. How much money and attention has been pouring in from across the country into this one particular district, and why?
I would say this district has gotten as much attention as any other in the country that I've seen. So much money, as you said, it has been poured in. There's just a bottomless pit of money for any district that is vaguely competitive, and this one is very competitive. So everybody has put some chips in on this race because they know on election night, this is one of the first races probably to be called, because Virginia has a 7 p.m. poll closing time. If the Democrat, Abby Spanberger, is losing, that suggests that certainly Republicans are getting a majority in the House. We'll look at the margin. If it's a significant margin, then it tells you probably Republicans are getting a considerable majority in the House. Now, on the other hand, if Spanberger manages to win re-election, maybe the Republican victory in the House is not going to be as substantial. I have a hard time finding a path for Democrats to keep a majority in the House. I think most analysts do. So I think it really tells us how big the Republican majority is going to be.
But Larry, we got this news in the last couple of hours that Congresswoman Liz Cheney has endorsed Democrat Abigail Spanberger. Now, we know this district has been redrawn recently. It has gone north quite a bit. It's got Fredericksburg in it as well, too. Does that help or hurt Abigail Spanberger, and does it hurt or help Yesley Vega?
When you have new territory, and this one has been completely reconstituted, and Spanberger had to move north, really, to campaign, basically you take away some of the advantage of incumbency, because the current district knows the incumbent, has heard from the incumbent, has gotten mailers from the incumbent, and so on. This is new territory, so it tends to even up a race, and that would tend to help Vega, I would think. The Liz Cheney endorsement, it gets attention. It comes at a good moment for Spanberger toward the end. Yeah. Things like this don't change many votes. It just doesn't happen that way. But it does get some additional publicity for the incumbent.
Larry Sabato is the director of the Center for Politics at the University of Virginia. He is our go-to person anytime we need to know something about politics in the Commonwealth, and it's our pleasure to have you back here, Larry. We'll talk to you soon.